Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's weekly musings is what do you people want? I'm doing a series of weekly musings, and I'm using posts to my blog, Adventures in Density and Effort, as inspiration. Now, I wrote these a while ago, and the world has completely changed since then. However, I'm finding the information still very evergreen and very pertinent for today. At the end, I will summarize the topic based on what's going on in the world today, and I also have some special offers, so stay tuned to the very end to see what they are. What do you people want? A couple months ago, I organized an event on Vashon Island to serve a small group there. I was excited because I was bringing people from Seattle to help, but I felt it would be a big support to the Islanders. Everyone had agreed on the day, and I had to jump through a few hoops to reach out to the Seattle folks who essentially had to take 6 hours out of their day, plus ferry fares, to do 2 hours of community outreach. I do this nearly every Saturday coming from Tacoma, but I lived on Vashon for nearly 30 years, so it's a different experience for me. It turned out to be a wonderful experience. The Seattle folks were enchanted by the island, which was lovely to see. However, half the folks on the island didn't show up. One person eager for the support came from Gig Harbor to receive the information. What happened? Maybe they didn't want it. Maybe they didn't know what they were missing. Clearly, it was my idea, but not their idea, to help move them forward. One of the Seattleites said, maybe they don't know what they're missing. Maybe when they want it bad enough, they'll come to Seattle for it. Yeah, maybe. I was trying to establish a support group on Vashon, so I felt the event needed to happen on Vashon, which was entirely my agenda. Maybe the folks on Vashon need to learn to go to Seattle or Tacoma for support. It's what I had to do when I got started. But here's the bigger picture. When you are trying to achieve your goals, when you are going for what you really want, shit comes up. You get scared, you get mad, you get resistant, you get judgmental, you get critical, you hide, you space out, you oversleep, you overschedule. You tell yourself stories about what's going on, about yourself and about others. You fill in the blank. In short, everything that is keeping you from getting what you want. You may be so overwhelmed, you don't even know what you really need. If you are struggling with basic life issues, you may not have enough clarity to have a clear picture of what you truly want. When you're stuck on the hamster wheel, all you can think about is getting off the wheel. You can't imagine what's possible for you. Of course, you may want to get off the hamster wheel and rest, but the hamster wheel has exercised your muscles to take you forward in life. It just won't require as much effort. I invite you to notice for yourself whether any of these things are happening in your life today. As I was reading this, I was thinking there's a couple people in my life that are reflecting this intensely. It feels like they're light years away from accepting help and making changes in your life. But I also know from personal experience that things can change in the blink of an eye, and how you might be so resistant right now, and a couple of things could just happen that completely transform your perspective. So in this blog post, I also put an illustration that was a triangle of basic hierarchies of need, and the bottom level in this, it says what we think we need is battery, and then Wi-Fi, and then physiological: food, water, shelter, warmth, and then safety, security, stability, freedom from fear, and then belonging and love, family, friends, spouse, lover, and then self-esteem, achievement, mastery, recognition, and respect, and then self-actualization, pursue inner talent, creativity, and fulfillment. And I'm glad that I enlarged that so I could read it, because beyond the Wi-Fi and the battery issues, I think that what is going on in the world today in the 24-hour news cycle is designed to keep us stuck in issues about safety and food, shelter, and warmth. And it's deliberate to keep us from accessing who we are as infinite beings, and awareness that we are consciousness, and the collective is very powerful. So maybe it's a good thing if you don't have Wi-Fi or battery, because it allows you to then create some change. One of the things I find really helpful is to go out in nature. Nature reconnects me to greater consciousness and helps me detach from the insanity of the news cycle and the characters that are creating the news. So again, I suggest take a look at your life, see if you are stuck in any of these areas, take some simple steps to get unstuck. Start taking a daily walk or weekly walk if you don't have time, and start shifting your perspective away from all the stuff that's going on in the news today and towards what you really want to create in your life, because you are an infinite being and you are fully capable of creating what you want. And if you do, leave me a comment below, because I do love to read your comments. And if you like these videos, please share them with your family and friends and on your social media. And please hit the thumbs up button, the heart button, like, share, subscribe, leave comments, and all those things. Tell the algorithm to share this far and wide and get this out to someone who really needs to see this information. And if you want a free sample of one of my consciousness techniques, click on the link below to the Skybox technique. It'll give you a drone's eye perspective of what's going on in your life and in the world today. And if you want to learn how to do this for yourself, click on the link below to my self-study course. It'll give you tools and techniques so that you can navigate your life as consciousness. And if you want to know more, my website is joan-newcomb.com. There you can learn about my individual sessions and also my coaching program. So go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you next week in another Weekly Musings.